Hey, this is Daniel for Adorama. I'm here at NAB 2016 in Las Vegas, and we're checking out all the new gear. So I'm here with Roger. He's the editorial director from 3DR, and they're going to tell you about some of their cool drone products and other things.
Yeah, cool. So the theme for us this year is the promise of solo. Last year we launched the product. It's the first smart drone, and part of the our thinking behind solo is to make it a platform that will evolve, right? So both on the hardware side and on the software side, you're not going to have to buy a new drone a year later, unlike other companies, right? So we don't lock you into technology. And here in NAB, we're a year later, and we've done that. And so it's a more versatile drone. It has different hardware and different software. And so I'll tell you what we're announcing here this year. We've got a 360 camera from Kodak, so it's a VR camera that you can hook up onto Solo, and it's got proprietary stitching for us, and it was designed with JK Imaging, which is Kodak's camera manufacturer, right? So we got that. We've got an aerial spotlight from Felix. And so it's great. So if you want to fly up and light a scene, you don't need these huge lights, right, that you have to take and carry around. You've got a drone that's like highly mobile, right? But if you're worried about flight time for that same light, we've got right behind us a drone flying on a tether. So it's a powered tether that goes up to the drone for virtually endless flight. So if you want to go out and light a scene for a long time, or if you want to film, say, football practice or something, right? You can just pop it up in the air, have that tether on there. It's 200-foot leash, and you're set. You're good to go.
That's very cool. I don't think I've seen that before.
Yeah, this is the first consumer drone to offer it, and the reason we can offer it is because we kept it open as a platform, right? So now you don't have to buy a Solo with a light or Solo VR or whatever, right? You just hook it onto the Solo you've already got. On the other side, though, we've built it to evolve for software. So we've kept the software open, and over the past year, we've already delivered a lot of really cool updates. Like we turned what was once a 2-point cable cam into a multi-point cable cam. So now you can use endless keyframes, right? So we've done more like that. And at NAB, we're releasing 2 new smart shots. One is Pano, so you get automatic aerial panorama. It snaps the photos for you at the right intervals. We've also got a new one called Zipline 2, which is like an infinite line in one direction, which sounds like, okay, it's kind of cool, you can go into the camera, but it's got this feature called Spot Lock, and you can set a point of focus off to the side of that zip line. And the metaphor I have is like you're in a train, and you're on a straight track, and you're going like, you're hauling on the train, the bullet train, oh, here's a windmill, right? So I want to look at the windmill, and as I go, it's like a, flyby, right? And so you can lock on it and fly solo straight by, and you get this really cool effect going by, and it's all automated. So Solo's the only drone that can control that automated flight and also the automated camera work to keep your frame in frame. So instead of investing now in the hardware, we've developed software. So we've got 3 pieces of this software suite that really make Sense and Avoid a lot more robust, and they engage the user and their environment rather than having to trust a piece of hardware to engage in the environment for you, right? And so one of them is geofencing, and it's customized geofencing. So it's not like set up, before you take off. You can define a net like this around Solo, but it's virtual. So it's these virtual boundaries. And if you're flying around near an office park, if you're flying in the woods or something, right? And like, well, I've got a clearing, and I really don't want to get close to these trees over here. Like, here's a stand of, really tall maples. I don't want to get close to it. You can actually draw this virtual line around Solo, and you won't go, it won't cross, those boundaries. You can also, so you're not locked into it, you can adjust it in flight. So you are in charge of your own Sense and Avoid, and you know exactly where your drone will be, what it can do and what it can't do, and you can change it as you see fit. We also have Augmented Reality, which will animate your home point on your live feed. It'll animate your orbit point of focus, and it will animate your orbit flight path, right? So if you're setting up an orbit, it's kind of hard sometimes to get a good judge of distance, right? Especially if you're up really high, and like, there's trees or there's a building or whatever. Like, I'm not sure if I'm going to hit that. It'd be cool. But if you look down at your screen, you're like, oh, you'll see that flight path. Like, yeah, I need to adjust the altitude because that's going right into the building, right? Or the radius, right? And you can do that really simply. So that's another element of scene awareness that engages you, again, in your environment. The third one is rewind. So this is my favorite. It's really cool. We have pause already. So if you're humming along and you're heading for that building, pause, it pulls Solo back real fast, right? Dead stop, and it hovers there, right? Cool. But now you can actually rewind your flight. So if you're flying, you get into a forest, right? You get into some sort of hairy situation, you're behind a building, you don't know where Solo is. And you hit return home, it might fly up high enough, you don't know. There might be obstacles that you can't see, directly in line of sight. Or you might be in a really, like I said, hairy spot. Press rewind, or just hold this pause button down, there's no new button. It pulls it right back on the same flight path, right? So if you don't hit anything going in, when you pull back out, you don't hit anything either. So these three elements of software are a really more comprehensive and engaging way to address the sense and avoid problem. And again, in the future, it's an open platform, it's got a lot of computer power. So yeah, we can develop things like the hardware for it too. And you can see here we're prototyping optical flow on the bottom, it works really well. So yeah, it's definitely in the future of Solo, but the technology is not up to our brand yet. So that's how we've approached it.
That's really awesome. I like that it's like this open platform and the software can adjust it. It's really, really interesting, and I think it makes the product really unique. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for telling us about it, Brent. Yeah. And I look forward to flying this myself. Cool. It's really cool. Yeah, man.
Thanks for the patience.
Yeah, no problem, man.
I'm so excited. We have so much stuff going on.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.